So common things I find are, well, firstly, every job is different. So we have different types of masonry that present different problems. Brickwork, you can get Class A engineering bricks, as in blue bricks. Really hard to drill through. You're going to need the right type of drill and the right type of drill bit. Engineering bricks, Class B, which are red engineering bricks, are quite brittle. Again, very difficult to put in. You may need a different type of fixing into there. So they're fairly common issues. Stonework, that's an interesting one because there can be a fully dressed stone or quite a tumbled stone, and you'd need to scribe it with an angle grinder, clean it down to take the high spots off. If it's still quite uneven, then use a mortar and back the stonework up so you try and get a flatter surface as possible, like the block cut here, nice and easy. So that's a one that we find every single time we go along. So another issue that you can get is use the right sort of mastic. We use, like I say, CT1, which is a tribrid mastic. There's a job I've got to go to where they've had a local builder install a set of rails, a barrier, and completely wrong because the guys used a bog standard frame sealant, an oil based. It's cracked round the edge. Just not done the right thing. So buy and use the best sealant you can get. Often get asked whether a face fix or a reveal fix is better. No one is better than the other, it's just your particular application. A face fix fastens, as it says, to the face of the brickwork, where the reveal fix fixes between two walls. Obviously, a face fix is generally more obvious from the outside and potentially stronger because the water pushes against or pushes the side rails to the back wall. Again, when measuring, don't forget drainage. You cannot put it over the top, a barrier over the top of an eco drain. Even if you're on the concrete and the eco drain goes underneath the barrier, the water's just going to get it underneath and back up and in. So as in you're negating it, you have to make sure that that base is solid and you've got three sides sealed, either side and the bottom. This particular project has packers supplied by the manufacturer. Ideally, they're best done in the aluminium because obviously that's not going to rot, twist, warp or split. But we have used hardwood where necessary. Sometimes use hardwood like a teak or a sapele, oak, ash. Do not use the softwood. They absorb too much water. And you can scribe that to very undulating stonework. So if you're doing a timber packer, don't forget it will still need treating, especially the end grain, top and bottom, and oil it. And if you are treating it, you also have to remember that product has to dry before you can install it because the silicons won't stick to it. As with this job, we have used ground strips because they were needed. Some projects you can go to, certainly if you're having to fit one internally, don't always necessarily need a ground strip. You've just got to make sure that that bottom seal on the board, the barrier that's going in, will be watertight because it needs to be flat. So maybe a painted floor. Sometimes garage floors are flat enough if you're using it into a garage. Generally anything concrete. Don't rely on a floor having a vinyl floor that it's going to seal to it because the water will get under the vinyl. That's one I've come across. Again, obviously anything internal, anything with timber has to come out. You can't fasten down to a timber floor. You can use, I mean, any zinc plated screw. Stainless steel screws are very good if you can get them. You must bear in mind that if using impact drivers, as I do, putting a stainless steel screw in, there's a fair chance, if you've not done it before, that you'll snap the head off. Stainless steel screws are very good, but they're quite brittle. So long as you don't use a soft brass screw or just an untreated screw, you should be okay. Stainless steel if possible, but if not, like I'm using here, a good quality bright zinc plated screw will work. If your depth of your concrete for your base rail is too deep, you may want to mix it yourself by using either a wash, sand and cement mix or a ballast and cement mix. And I would recommend, if doing that, to put an additive in. We use SBR, which is an additive that makes it more pliable, it's stronger, and it will give it some waterproof properties. I sometimes use SBR as well to prime surfaces if I think it's going to draw the moisture out too quickly. It will give you a little bit more working time and enable you to get your base rail in safely and with being able to move it and get it in the right position. So we're nearly ready to install this barrier. What I've just done to start with is sort of put it in dry, so nothing's fixed in, just to make sure that we've got the right barrier at the right opening. On this project there are two barriers in the same wall, one slightly wider than the other, so rather than cut a barrier and then have a mistake, just check before you install that it's the right barrier for the right opening.